our series of college football playoff interviews. We're going to open up the Coach Knowles portion of these with Andy Anders, Letterman Rowe. No, 11 Warriors.
Jim, what are you seeing out of this Tennessee running game? Obviously, cold weather, ground games are going to be important. What's in them?
You know, they spread you out from sideline to sideline, you know, and they create seams in your defense, and combine that with tempo. You know, you have to get lined up fast. It's a challenge, but and we got the right guys to do it, and I'm confident in our players. They've been working hard and confident in the plan.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
The offensive line, I'm not sure concerned. The offensive line is obviously got some issues, and a lot of people are going to think that if Washington's going to win national championships, it's going to have to really rely on the defense. How confident are you that it comes down to, hey, almost having to shut out teams or at least limit them to 10 points or whatever it might be, that you guys are up to the challenge?
Yeah, I'm confident in our players. I'm confident in the way they perform in crucial moments. Never put a limit on it, or, you know, we have to do this or that. Always confident in our team and all the members of our team, but also, you know, willing to wear that that defense can win. You know, that we can win the game on defense. That's everything that I've been working on since I've gotten here, and I know there have been times that we have done that. So. We have a history of it. The guys know they can do it. And I think they take pride in that. That if it comes to the defense winning, then that's what we have to do. We got to do our job for the team, for the program, for the fans. We got to do our job. So take everything else out of it. Like you said, it doesn't matter what else happens. We have to do our job.
Over to the left. Go ahead. This time, yes.
Your cornerbacks are obviously talented players, but they've each had bumps in the road this year. The way that Tennessee spread you out, probably going to put a lot of pressure on those guys. How much confidence do you have in Denzel and Davis?
Great confidence in both of them. Jermaine also. You know, it really doesn't matter who you're playing. Tennessee will challenge us in certain ways, but those guys are on an island all the time. I mean, like I said, forget who you're playing. It's one-on-one many times out there. I mean, anybody can just step back and throw the ball up in the air. So we have complete confidence in our corners. There are ups and downs in any season, in any career, but those guys are great players, and they're really good people, and they work hard, and they're resilient, and they bounce back, and they're going to have a great game.
Steve Hellwagen, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, the defense has played so well the last 6 games. I'm going to be kicking nits here, but the last game against Michigan, looking at the snap counts again, it seemed like the defensive line went the whole distance, and there could be a question, were they good enough in the fourth quarter, the way that Michigan held the ball against you? Is there any thought, I mean, you know, you play, say, Iowa, and the backups get 20, 30 plays, but then you get in these quote-unquote big games, and the other players don't play at all. Just, is there a thought to mix that up going into the playoff?
You have to, I think as a coordinator, you have to, and I'm sure Coach Day believes this too, you have to trust your coaches. I mean, Coach Johnson's been doing this a long time. There's no one else we would want to make those decisions. So, you know, I think there's a natural tendency of coaches, I've been around a while, that, you know, when times are tight, to go with those guys who have been in those situations. We'd always like to play as many guys as possible, but those decisions happen at the moment, you know, and I know, and I think everybody in this room and all our fans know that Coach Jay is going to make the best decisions for the team and the program.
Austin Ward, podcast.
You were talking earlier about the defense doing their job and doing enough to win. I'm sure that they felt in the game that you all did enough on that side of the ball to win the game.
Did we win?
Did not.
And we did.
So they,
You know, it's that-
so they don't feel that way?
No, I mean, it's that simple. I mean, this is a team game. It's the greatest team sport there is. And, you know, if it takes 3-0, it's 3-0. I mean, you know, we have to look at it and always strive for perfection. Every game's different, right? So you don't put, you're not going to walk away from a game in this sport, you know, at this level and say, well, you know, we did our job. It's not how it is. These guys sweat and bond, and we all know the time and effort they put in, and you know they stick together. So, you know, whatever it takes to win, either you do or you don't. You know, there were plays that we could have made. There were, and our guys would tell you that.
Fourth row right, Stefan Kreisnick, Cleveland.com.
A few weeks ago, Lathan Ransom was finalist for one of the Comeback Player of the Year awards. I know it hasn't just been about, you know, coming back from last season's injury for him either. I guess, what have you thought of the way, you know, he's kind of handled some of the adversity in his career, the opportunity he has here in the playoffs to kind of go out on a strong note?
Yeah, awesome young man, great leader. Just one of those guys that it's why you get into coaching. You know, to be a part of that kind of career. You know, Lathan has had adversity, injury-wise, on the field, and he is finishing strong. He really is. And our players have the utmost respect for him, and I expect that he's going to have a great final to his career also.
Kellyanne Stitz, WSYX.
Tennessee quarterback Nico Yamaleava is his first year as a starter. He's young but talented. What stands out about him?
You know, he's got a really strong arm. So the type of offense that they play, he has to be able to make throws from hash to sideline. And he's got a cannon. And then I think he's faster than everybody thinks. He's fast. And he makes a lot of plays with his feet also.
Tom Barry, WBNS.
Coach, as you said earlier, they have a dynamic offense like to spread the field. This is a home game for you guys. The CFP is going to play a little bit of a role, but, you know, the fans are still Buckeye fans. How much of an advantage does it give the defense when the fans are loud and you have a message for the fans?
Yeah, I mean, it's a home game. I mean, treat it like any other home game. You know, it's historic, but it's still our field, our stadium. You know, and our job as a defense is to defend that. And we will. But we'll take all the help that we can get. So, you know, everybody bring their loudest voices and hand warmers or whatever it takes to yell loud.
Deep middle, Tony Gervin, Buckeye Huddle.
Jim, defending the up-tempo and the no-huddle that Tennessee does, a lot of people think that the up-tempo is just throwing the ball around. Tennessee's kind of the opposite. Is there a difference in defending the up-tempo against a run-heavy RPO offense and a pass-heavy offense?
There's a difference, but, you know, they do it as well as anybody has, because when you're doing it right, I mean, every play is has a run, has a pass. And it's 50-50, and you're gaining as many yards in the air as you do on the ground, which I think they're pretty close. You know, so they're doing it, I believe, the way it was built to be, and they're doing it well.
Is there how much in-helmet communication will there be for you in this game?
There'll be in-helmet communication, but you have to operate a lot of different ways, right? Because things happen really fast. So you got to use that. You got to use signals. You got to use every method you have to get the message across. But there'll still be communication.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Speaking of the tempo, when you're preparing for that, I know you guys use it sometimes, but clearly not as much as Tennessee does. How do you prepare guys for that? And in your experience, how different is it when you actually get in the game and go against it?
It's a lot different when you get to the game. That's how I opened the week, with telling the guys we're going to do everything we can to prepare you. But it's like when you play an option team and you show up, you know, it's a lot different. So, you know, our preparation methods are, you know, we Coach Day can have our like 2 offense, run a series of tempo plays. And then we have actually trained our scout team to run tempo plays. So our scout team runs tempo plays. So, we can come in with a set of, the 2 offense going fast, and then we can bring, the scout team guys in, and they have their own signals that they run, and they run plays. So, and then like, even when we're not, because you can't go tempo all the time with your scout team, I mean, those guys do a great job. I mean, with the numbers going down and everything, I think college football is really going to feel that effect, because, you have these scout team guys that they never get to play, and all they do is work and practice, and my hat's off to them. But so the way you try to simulate it is, even when you're not going tempo, you a lot of times have the defense like turn their backs to the offense, or like, hey, you 11 guys go line up over there, and then the offense comes running here, and then you have to sprint over to your position and line up and play. So you're trying to be creative to create any way you can, so they understand the speed and the decision making that's going to have to take place.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jimmy, you've not faced a lot of teams that play tempo quite like Tennessee does, just the way the schedule is, and a lot of teams that play you guys try to do the opposite, where they milk a lot of clock. Does that at all make it harder in preparation?
It doesn't make it harder. It makes it different, but I think we're ahead of the game that way. I mean, our defense is built that way. It's built for tempo. David Cutcliffe made me do that back in the day at Duke. So hats off, Coach Cut. It helps, yeah. Because this is what everybody was doing, right? 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I mean, 14, I lose track of time.
Why do you say it's built for tempo?
That's how we set it up. Our calls and everything. It's been that way in this system since back then at Duke with Coach Cutcliffe. So it's built for tempo. And that's like when I first started it back then with Coach Cut. He said he wanted to be this is when it was all the rage. He said he wanted to be the fastest play calling defense in the country. That's what we are. We've remained that way. We're the fastest play calling defense in the country.
That's the way you signal on the play.
It's the way we do it.
Steve Means, Cleveland.com.
That was an interesting footnote. After the Oregon game, I think that's the only team to that point that's really played at this level of tempo that you guys have faced this year. When you first got here, there was maybe an adjustment period to calling defenses in the Big Ten, and it seems to be more like what your background. What were those conversations like with Ryan Day? Just take us through those 2 weeks of essentially kind of revamping the defense a little bit in a way that's not only gotten back to what you were before you got here, but maybe also helped set you up for what could be coming on Saturday.
Yeah. What are we doing wrong? How do we get better? How do we put the players in better position? What are some of the things that we've done in the past that we can utilize? What are the tweaks we can make to it? What do our guys do well? What do they struggle with? All those things, and it was a great process to be a part of. It's not an overhaul, but a reevaluation at that point. That game was not what we wanted it to be. So, we had to take a look at ourselves. And like I said, it's about winning. So when we don't, and we don't play well enough, we got to take a look at that.
There were things that you guys tried over the past month before Indiana and Michigan that maybe could work in a game like this, like the jack. Is that something, you've had time to maybe prepare for stuff. Could we see the jack in this game, or are there other things that maybe you tested throughout the last month that maybe you were thinking with this type of game in mind that you could use?
No comment.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Jim, following up on Austin's earlier question, when the defense plays well enough to win, and you don't win, there's got to be frustration that builds up.
Who says we played well enough to win if we don't win? That's my point. That's my point.
You play very well, and the offense maybe doesn't play as well. There's got to be frustration. I would think beyond the X's and O's of coaching, working through that frustration with your unit, that side of the ball. How do you keep that from sort of splintering? I know you've talked about team.
Well, you got to have a good team. You got to have good leaders, number one, right? We're only going to talk about, hey, what did we do well? What can we do better? Here are the plays we made. Here are the plays we didn't make. You know, how do we get better and improve? And we're also going to talk about, hey, you remember, you know, we had a game that wasn't so good this year. You remember how that felt when everybody was pointing a finger at you? And they can nod their head and say, yeah. I said, well, go pick up one of your offensive buddies then. That's what you do. You know, you've been there. So go lift up somebody else.
Bill Landis, Kings of the North.
Jim, I think earlier this year, Josh Heupel kind of pushed back on the notion that they're an air raid offense because of how well they run the ball and how often they run the ball. What is your view on that? And I'm wondering, like, if you have any unique perspective, given your time in the Big 12 and how familiar this thing is.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain labels, but I remember, like, even the air, I don't know. What's air raid? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Is that Mike Leach or? Because there's Art Briles. I mean, they used to, remember, didn't they have like that big tight end guy who was like 350 pounds, Art Briles, and they would like, where they would run they would, you know, hit you hard with the run. So, you know, I think you throw out all the labels, you just look at what's on the tape and you see that they run the ball as well as they throw it.
Jeremy Birmingham podcast.
Jim, obviously, when you get extra time to prepare for one opponent, I mean, it's never a bad thing to have more time, but is there a risk of, like, focusing too much on certain things they do, or how do you balance between what Tennessee does well, what you think they might do, what they haven't shown, heading into a week like this?
Isn't that the process, right? And you're right. A little extra time is good. Too much time. I ran into JT in the halls last night. He said, when are you getting out of here? I said, yeah, I need to get out of here because I'm just going to screw it up at this point. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you sit around long enough and things start to look good and you realize, that's not good. You know, I had that idea 10 days ago. It didn't work. So you're right. I mean, at some point you just have to say, so you kind of go through the first week and then you tweak that. You know, you tweak that first week. And then after that, you know, this is what we got.
Folks, apologize. I got players waiting. One more, Tim May, Letterman Rowe. Then we're going to get some players in here.
Yeah, just two quickies. Number one, when you're prepping for a team like this, you haven't played them. Do you spend a lot of more time, maybe you don't even do this, on the way Arkansas played these guys, especially in the second half, the way Georgia shut them down in the second half? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you do that all the time. And you're right, with a little extra time, it's always good. You know, you always want to go back to those games where teams played well against your opponent. You know, so you kind of, you watch everything, you put the game plan in, then you go back to those games. Then you go back to those games, and you keep looking at them to see, you know, how the opponent reacts in those situations and what worked. You know, yes, and what didn't work. You know. And a lot of times, as we all know, teams do well, and you see plays that could have gone the other way, you know, so you got to look at everything.
One other quickie. You have feelings.
Who said?
No, I'm just.
I did used to have a coffee cup that said coaches are people too. Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, just a quickie, because we didn't get to talk to you after the game, but Jack Sawyer made one of the great plays in the game history, you know, but really kind of got robbed the way the game turned out. You understand what I'm saying? But in your mind, how great a play was that from the way you watched it? It looked like he kind of picked up out of the corner of his eye the guy coming across and then makes the interception. I mean, just
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, like, I mean, we all love this game, but it's like a God moment, really, to be honest with you, because we screwed it up. I get chills, but we screwed it up. And he was heads up enough to make a play like that. You
That's
know,
what you gotta have, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's how you want your guys to. You want to win, right? But you want to make sure your guys too that they're just able to have those experiences, and that was an amazing. I'm glad you pointed it out because I don't know how many people really understand how amazing that play was. It was fantastic. We cut a guy loose. We cut a guy loose. That's my fault, right? It's not. I always say about defensive football. It's like, well, I told him to do. He's a really good kid. He didn't do it, so that means it's my fault. But Jack made up for it. So thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much,
All right.
Coach. Thank you. All right, we're going to bring linebacker Sonny Styles in here for a few minutes. What's going on? Thanks, buddy.
So how are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Sonny, we'll open up over to the right here. Austin Ward, the podcast.
Sonny, I know you never feel like the work is done, but if you look at week 1 through week 12, where do you feel like you made the biggest stride as linebacker?
I think I've started to trust myself more and more as each week goes on. You're starting to see similar run plays, pass plays over and over and over. You start to become more comfortable and you start to recognize a little faster. So just trusting myself, and I feel like I've got better with that.
Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
Sonny, when you play a team like Tennessee who runs so much tempo, but they want to run the ball, how difficult is that? Because a lot of times, nobody think got teams that want to pass the ball over the place, but they want to run the ball as much or more than they go.
I think the biggest thing, you got to get lined up fast and you got to be sharp on what you're doing. If you have to line up and think about what you're doing, you're a second too late and they snap the ball, you don't know exactly what gap you're in. Now you're out of the wrong gap and turn into a 20-yard run. So that's what they want. And then they move fast to get those kind of explosive plays where someone's not in the right spot, whether it's in the passing game or the running game.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yes, sir. If it comes down to you guys having to win these 4 games, mostly on defense, how confident are you that you're up to the challenge?
I mean, as a defense, we always take pride in wanting to win every game on defense, and regardless of how the offense is playing. Obviously, we have a super talented offense, and we expect them to play well, as do they. But we take pride in as a defense. Like, we have enough talent in our defense, and we have obviously a great defense coordinator in Coach Knowles, where we should be able to win any game on defense.
Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Sonny, following up on their tempo offense, what will be the most critical thing Saturday night for you guys defensively from play to play? Just, you know what I mean? Just, is it quickly getting back to where you're supposed to be? Explain to people what you'll be going through out there.
I think as soon as the play ends, you got to be able to sprint to wherever you're going, get the signal, everyone communicate, communication sharp. You got to know exactly what you're doing. Once the communication's out there, you got to be able to line up and just see what's in front of you. It can't be a whole bunch of looking around like, oh, what are we playing? What are we playing? What are we playing? Like, it's got to be, hey, we're playing this, boom, line up. Now I know what I'm doing. It can't be too much extra communication. You got to be able to be sharp with it.
Do you feel like it will make you guys a little more basic in your approach? I mean, from a defense standpoint, to make it not too complicated? Go ahead.
I don't know if I'll say basic. I think Coach Knowles is going to set us up for success. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to line up and run the same play every time, but I think Coach Knowles is going to set us up for success and make sure everyone's locked in on what we're doing, everyone's sharp, and everyone knows exactly what we're doing.
Deep middle, Tony Gervin, Buckeye Huddle.
Sonny, with the wide receiver splits that Tennessee does, how does that impact you stopping the run?
Obviously sometimes it kind of stretches the linebackers outside of the box. You get a linebacker apex between the end man and the receiver. So you're coming in from like a wider angle to make the play. It's a little different than what you see with most teams. You apex a lot, but not to that extent. So, you got to counteract that with different looks. You might not be apexing all the time. Sometimes you might stay in the box. Sometimes you might not match the receiver's width. But I think you just got to be sharp with your eyes. When you're coming from that far, you got to know exactly what you're seeing, and once you see, you got to go because you got a lot of space to make up. You got to work on it quite a bit. Like Tennessee's unique with how far it is, so you're not usually apex as far as that. But obviously we're able to replicate that in practice this past 2 weeks, week and a half, whatever that may be. So we're trying to get the best that we can in practice with it.
Now, right next door, Tom Moore, Buckeye Huddle.
Nico Imaliava seems like he does a really good job extending plays, and sometimes that's run, and sometimes that's just finding time to throw. What kind of a challenge does that present for you? Having to be real disciplined in your rush, not letting you get out, but also if you're in coverage, you might have to cover for a lot longer than you normally would.
Yeah, I mean, it takes all 11. So it starts with the rush lanes, like you said, everyone being in the rush lanes where they're supposed to be. And then if he does happen to get out, because he's a great athlete and obviously you're going to have a chance to make some great plays, you got to be able to hang in there. Whoever you're on, stay on them, be disciplined in your coverage. But, I mean, it sucks for a defense when you feel like you got everyone covered and he just gets out the pocket, runs for 20 yards. Like, that's like, dang, it sucks for a defense. That's difficult to work with. So we're obviously going to have to plan for that and be able to counteract that.
Any other questions for Sonny? Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, Sonny, you obviously have a decision to make after the season is over. Have you thought about that at all going into, the last home game of the year?
No, not at all. I've been just worried about winning this game.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
How do you get the taste of the Michigan loss out of your mouth? I know as a team you guys talk about, but how do you personally do that?
I mean, obviously it sucks. It's the game. So it's one of the most important games of the year. So it sucks losing that game. But, I mean, you got to turn on the film, watch it, see what you did well, see what you did wrong. You try and fix that. And, I mean, now we're blessed with the opportunity to go try and compete for a national championship. So now you got to move on and go win this game.
When the defense plays so well, the offense struggles a little bit. How do you handle that from a frustration level?
I mean, I think the defense, we're frustrated that we should have played well enough to win the game. I mean, people talked about how we played, defense played good enough to win any other game. If the offense plays, I think the defense, we're talented enough. We should have won the game with our play. And I don't think there should be any kind of pointing fingers at the offense. I mean, because there's a time and point where we didn't play so well. And, people talked about us losing games. And we turned around and ended up being one of the best defenses in the country. So I got full confidence in our offense to play well. But I think the defense is more frustrated at ourselves. We feel like we should be able to win any game, like I said before.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Excuse me. Coach Knowles was just talking to us about kind of the creative ways in practice they've simulated tempo. What's that been like from a player perspective, and how do you feel like it's worked out for you?
I mean, it's been well. I think they definitely try to give us the best look they can, but obviously you can't really replicate the exact look that they give because they're obviously really good at it. I mean, you turn on the film, and it's like the ball's going to snap, and this play clock's only down like 5 seconds. So it's kind of hard to replicate that, but I think it's more of a mental thing. You got to imagine in your mind of how fast I'm going to have to get lined up and know exactly what I'm doing in the game. And, I think we got a lot of mature guys in our defense, so we're going to be able to handle that well.
And final question, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Ask about the run game a little bit, but Dylan Sampson in particular, what does he do differently than the other? You guys have played like Caleb Johnson this year, the Michigan running backs. You've seen some pretty good back Singleton. What stands out about Sampson that makes him so good at what he does?
I think with a lot of explosive runs, I've seen you see a lot of patience from him. Sometimes you see him being very patient behind blocks, and he finds the crease and he shoots it. Obviously he has some pretty good breakaway speed, but I think the biggest thing is patience. You don't always see that with every running back, but he's very patient and he waits for the right time to hit the right crease.
Sonny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Cody?
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, continuing on. Questions for Cody Simon, linebacker, far left over there, Whitney Harding, WCMH.
Hey, buddy. Somebody was talking about this, about facing this tempo offense. Communication is going to be key. With your role on the defense and communication, what has that work been like these last couple weeks getting ready for this up-tempo offense?
Yeah, I would say probably the most important thing is just urgency. They're going to be urgent. We have to be urgent as well. And I'm getting a line, getting the call, getting everything. It goes back to just basic defense. You got to be able to be ready for anything. So we're doing our best to prepare for that and get ready for the game.
Third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Cody, I remember you talking back before the spring about how you guys all came back for a reason. Obviously, weren't able to accomplish those first two goals. How much do you just go into this college ball playoff thinking about we need to make a run because this is how we get back?
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, you can't accomplish all your goals, but we have the opportunity to accomplish the biggest goal possible right now. So, we're putting all of our chips in and ready to go. And, we're just getting prepared right now.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Cody, Jim was talking about this defense, the way he can call it, the fastest play calling defense in the country. I guess the way you can kind of signal and plays. When he came here, did it feel like it was like the way he could call a game and get you guys lined up was already fast?
I think the main thing is when he first got here, it was a complete change of our mentality of our defense. But especially now, I mean, we're getting guys who are more comfortable with the system, and he can call it as fast as he really needs to. And I mean, it'll come into play this game because of their tempo, but I think that's gonna be a major focus of us trying to get those calls in fast and be ready to play.
How does it help you guys to have a fast play calling defense?
Well, I mean, we trust that Coach Knowles knows the situations, and he'll get us on a call that will be great for whatever moment is in front of us. And I mean, if you can be in a good call for a certain play, then it'll be a great opportunity for us to get a stop.
Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, just one flashback to the Michigan game. You remember the interception by Jack Sawyer? How cool a play was that from your vantage point?
Yeah, I mean, he made it probably one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. It's unfortunate we couldn't celebrate it more now because of the end of the game, but it was a great play. But I mean, he knows that focus now is turned to Tennessee, and he has opportunity to make a play like that in this game. So we're going to be looking for opportunities to make big plays and get ready for this game.
When the team runs up tempo, does it give you a little bit of an advantage because they pretty much got to go?
Yeah.
Meaning that's probably a lot more than 15 seconds left on the play clock. You know what I mean? From hearing from Coach Knowles and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's no cutoff there. I mean, that's there's definitely pros and cons of going tempo, and I mean they know that too, and they're gonna try to get us all out of whack and try to that's just how tempo works, and it's gonna be our job to get the call, get everything, get a line, and be ready to play.
Deep middle, Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Cody, Jim Knowles was talking about in preparation and practice, you guys will have your backs turned to the line of scrimmage at times to replicate the deepest speed up. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole bunch of different stuff that we're doing now, but just that's another one of those things where it's like it makes your brain have to think faster and just be ready for anything that can come up. Your guys line up all the other side of the field, and you have a split second to read it and diagnose it and be ready for a play.
How does that look during practice? A little bit of chaos, or?
I mean, we've done it before. We did it in camp. I mean, you try to prepare for this kind of stuff throughout the season. So, I mean, it's really just as simple as turning around and seeing what you got. So it's not super complicated.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Cody, you guys came into the season with such incredibly high expectations and talent levels, the stack of rosters you guys have had. Do you feel like you've still not played your best game? I mean, there have been times when you looked the way people thought you'd look, but not necessarily for a whole game against better teams. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, you're always chasing to play your best game, and even if you think you do, you're not really satisfied with that. For us, I think we could always play better. In all of our games we played, there's always been some part that we come back in the film room, we're like, we need to hammer this down, and I think we're trying to push to get to that level right now, and it'll be great for all the hard work and all the preparation to come together this Saturday and put a perfect game together for us.
Was that kind of been the talk of you guys? Like, hey, I mean, less so on defense, because you guys have played well, but is there a feeling like we still haven't put it all together yet?
No, I mean, I think on all sides of the ball, like it's not like nobody's played a perfect game yet. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't describe it as that. So, we know what we have to do, and we know what can happen if we do play a perfect game, and we're just trying to be able to play our hardest and grade out champions, and all be clicking on all facets of the ball.
Anybody else for Cody?
Cody,
go ahead, Tim.
Real quick, how impressive is Sampson, their running back, as you watch him on video and stuff? And Sonny was talking about he's a real patient kind of back. Yeah. You see some of those guys sometimes you don't, but just what jumps out at you about him?
Yeah, no, I think he's a smart runner. I mean, just like you said, he's patient, but he's got a good feel for his blocks, and I mean he's a great player. He won the SEC Player of the Year for a reason. So it's a big challenge for us, and we're up for that challenge. We enjoy to be able to look for players to try to stop and have a real focus on games. So I mean they're gonna do a good job with him. We're gonna do a better job.
Deep, Joe Nugent, WCMA.
Obviously not going to be too warm Saturday night. Kind of looking forward to what's coming in terms of the weather playing a cool game.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere is what's going to make the game awesome. Never played a game in December in the shoe, so no matter what the weather is, we're all going to be up for it. I mean, we've been practicing outside, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we'll be all right, and then it'll be a great atmosphere, and we're going to try to go out there and make it hard for them to operate and do what they do.
far right, Jeremy Birmingham.
Cody, how
Podcast.
How important is it to get a mulligan at a final game in Ohio Stadium for you and the seniors? I mean, it's something that 3 weeks ago I don't think you could have ever really thought about, but now you have 3 more days to think about it. What does it mean to you to get that opportunity, and what are you hoping to hear from the crowd on Saturday?
Yeah, no, we you obviously weren't preparing to be in this position, but have another one in front of the fans. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything more, right? I mean, we're grateful, but at the other side, we're also, we know we've done enough during the season to earn a spot in the playoff and to earn our home game. So we're going to go out there and give it our best, and we hope the fans do the same thing. And we love that we have really passionate fans. That's why, like, it's Ohio State, so we know we have to play at our best, and if we don't, we're going to hear it, and we hope that they're with us on this one, and we're going to go out there and pretty much give it all. So we're just ready for it and excited for this.
Cody, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mike, I'm not going over reconnaissance.
Little sketch. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're the first person that's ever. It's not. You know.
All right, thank you. Caleb, we'll open up the floor today. Second row middle, Stephen Beach, Cleveland.com.
Caleb, given that you played against this team before, I believe, what similarities between this year's Tennessee team and last year's team did you really see as you're breaking this team down on film? And what's your thoughts on Nico?
They have a lot of the same type of offensive objectives, to play fast, to give people one-on-one responsibilities. Their coach does a great job putting people in positions where you can only play one thing and making it a one-on-one game. Nico's played really well. He's done a lot for them this year, and his ability to run and scramble has been really big for him.
Right behind him, Rob Oliver, dispatch.
Okay, but when you have a game as tough, a loss as tough as Michigan, how do you handle that frustration and not blame other people? How do you keep it, how do you handle the accountability? I guess it got pretty heated. The guys yesterday were saying it got pretty heated post-game in the days following.
I would say really just at the end of the day, we're a team. It doesn't really matter if somebody doesn't do their job, because then that affects the whole team. And you have to go with that specific thing that caused us not to be able to get the job done. And you have to make it right, pretty much. You have to find a way to grow from that and make decisions and play the best game possible based off of your strengths and weaknesses and what we have right now. And yeah, we had to have that as a team to be able to talk to each other and communicate how everybody was feeling and what everybody thought the issues were. But at the end of the day, we're a team, and everybody here stands with each other, and we got to go play.
The team closer in some ways, you can galvanize the brotherhood even more.
Definitely, just getting information out that you have to each other, and being more open about and honest about everything and how you feel. It's a serious way to express your feelings to somebody that you really care about and you really want the best for.
Right behind him, Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
The tempo obviously is a big conversation. Coach Knowles was talking about some of the ways you guys prepared for that, some kind of creative ways in practice. Cody said you defend some in camp even just to be ready for teams. How have you felt like that has worked? And just having played against this tempo before, how prepared do you guys feel?
I mean, you have to practice fast in terms of getting prepared for the game. Last year we did the same thing at Alabama. Everybody had to run back and forth between drills and between practice, between plays. And pretty much we've been doing the same thing here, just trying to build up stamina and then being able to play a full game, because they play like 80 plays a game. So just being able to do that and do it at a high level is going to be a really big thing.
On that recognition of like, you need to know quickly what's happening. I guess it's just as big as getting lined up, right?
Mm-hmm. Just getting the call and being able to get your cleats in the dirt is going to be really big. Just to be able to play fast and play physical, and you have your eyes in the right place. If you have to get the call in fast, it's way better than looking for the call late.
Third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Caleb, there was talk that you were kind of one of the guys who took on a leadership role after that Michigan game, kind of the team meetings you guys had. Is that true? And if so, like, what was your message to the team?
I mean, I would say I was just the person that I was the whole season. I wouldn't say I did anything more, did anything less than I've done all season in terms of leadership. But yeah, I mean, everybody had to step up. Guys like Emeka, guys like JT, Jack. Everybody had to step up in terms of trying to get the team back on track and where we want to go. So that was really just the biggest thing for us, just to try to move our focus to where we're going to be.
Right in front of him, Steve Hellwagen, 24/7 Sports.
Caleb, this season you've been recognized pretty widely, for your play. Just in your mind, what you came to Ohio State to accomplish, how did your expectations, I guess, meet up with how you feel you played up to this point, I guess?
I feel like I've made the plays that came to me, and that's really all I can control. I've had more opportunities as the years progressed and been in spots to be around the ball. But the expectation was to come in here and contribute to the team and try to help find a way to push the team to win games at a high level, and to be better than they were last year, and for me to play better than I was last year. So really just coming to try to grow with myself and with the team. So that was my big goal, and I feel like I've done a good job, and the team has done a good job progressing through the year and getting better. So yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Over here to the right, Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Caleb, you stand here right now. Does this feel like a different season? What does it feel like for you going into the playoffs? Y'all didn't get the goal you wanted necessarily in the regular season, but here you are, right? I mean, what is that sense that you have right now that's different maybe about the regular season?
I mean, everybody wants to say it's a new season in terms of, because it is. Everybody's 0-0 right now. If you win, you keep going. If you lose, you're done. So, I mean, but genuinely, like, that's how you have to play every game. You have to play every game like it's your last game. So for me, I don't think it's really any difference. You have to go play at a high level every game, and that can't be based upon, is it a playoff game or is it anything else? You got to go play every game like it's the same thing. So I would say in terms of that, no, you just have to play the game and play the game that's there.
What feels different about this defense right now going into this, though? Do y'all feel even more tight, or, by tight, I mean close together? What is that? I mean, what is your sense of the brotherhood, so to speak, of the defense?
I feel like we've progressed throughout the season. We didn't make a change after game 6 because we lost and we didn't play well that game. And I feel like we've grown from that and got into a better place. And over these past 2 weeks off, just realizing, okay, these are the things that we've messed up throughout the year. These are what we need to fix. These are what this team is trying to exploit on us. So just really going back through everything, seeing what we can do better for this coming game and for the next coming games.
Last couple questions. Tony Gergman, Buckeye Huddle.
Caleb, how does the Tennessee's wide splits with your receivers impact you as a defender?
I feel like it makes the game more of a one-on-one game. It makes your receivers and your DBs have to play a separate game than the guys up front. And it makes it truthfully like those guys have to do their job and these guys have to do your job. And you got to be able to stop the run with the people that you have in the run fit, and you have to be able to stop the pass with the people that you have out there. So that's what they do, and they do it at a really elite level. So it's going to be tough to go against.
And final question, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Caleb, Coach Knowles was talking about the speed at which you guys are able to call in plays is built for tempo because of how fast you can get the play call in. What, as a player, what kind of advantages that give to you, just the speed at which stuff is called in?
It allows you to get your cleats in the dirt, as I said earlier, just ability to see the formation, see what keys that you have before the play, and have knowledge of your job and not really thinking. Being able to play and not think during the game is a really big thing. So whenever you can get the call in faster and play at a high level and play without thought, that's a really good thing for your team.
Caleb, thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all.
Going to continue our press conference from yesterday with questions for wide receiver Emeka Abuka. Floor is open, front row. Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Do you feel like you guys have put it all together at any point this year the way that you hope to?
I feel like there's a couple games where we played really well as an entire team, but I think the essence of the guys on the team, we're all true competitors. And when you're a true competitor, you're never really satisfied with where you are. So we could go up there and hang 70 on a team on offense, and the defense can hold them to 0. We're still going to point out the pieces where we need to get better. So
Against the better teams especially, I mean, you certainly played well in certain ways, either your offense or defense, but have you offense, defense, special teams, have you put together the way that you think you need to so far yet?
I mean, I don't think so. But at the same time, like, you could witness this happen on Saturday, and we're still going to find a way to, try to push in areas that we need to push and grow in areas that we need to grow. So I don't think you'll ever see a complete game by the Buckeyes, but we can definitely get a close product, and that's what we shoot for.
Jim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah. What can your fans out there are confounded a little bit because of that drive y'all had before halftime? Lickety split right down. All you guys were involved and stuff. I think fans wonder, why can't you do that every possession? I know it's not that simple and stuff, but do you hang on that a little bit? I mean, from a standpoint of success in a game where the offense was a little bit lacking. I mean, you can do this. You understand what I mean? To buoy, I guess, going into a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not too really focused on anything that happened in last week's game. Obviously, we've recognized the problems, and we've identified the issues, and we have done our best to try and solve them throughout these last couple practice weeks. We have full trust in the coaches to put together a plan to put us in the position to be successful, but it's ultimately our job as players to put it on the field. So we're working through all those kinks and getting out all the impurities from last week, and we're solely focused on beating Tennessee this week.
How much of a bonus is it having another home game? That could have been y'all's last home game. What's going through your mind in that regard?
It's
on a show. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's amazing. It's such a blessing just to be able to play in front of Buckeye Nation in the shoe. And it's an experience that I was going to miss had that been my last game in the shoe. But God has given us another opportunity to go out there and play in front of amazing home fans, play on the field with my brothers that I played so many times, and knowing that this is for sure the last one. It's definitely a special feeling. So just trying to soak it all in, but also have the intense mindset to go out there and execute.
Over third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Emeka, does this playoff run feel different knowing that for you guys, the senior class, you haven't been able to yet accomplish any of those goals that you've set out for?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say if you went back to Georgia 2022, the other time we made the playoffs, I was laser focused then too. I'm laser focused then now. So I think we have the same mindset going in. Obviously, in the back of our heads, we know, okay, this is our last hurrah, our last chance. But we're never looking at it as, okay, it's now or never. It's always now or never. We're trying to win every single game, every time we get an opportunity to go all the way. So that's been our mindset the last couple of years. We've come up short, but we have an opportunity to do something special this year.
Right in front of him, Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Emeka, Will did not have the kind of game that you guys were used to seeing him. He had 2 interceptions, didn't complete passes at the same level that he had been doing throughout the season. I know he had that rough hit that he took during the game, but coming out of that, you still have the hope and the faith in him that he's going to play like he has the lion's share of the season, as opposed to maybe kind of the things that happened in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Will is our quarterback. He's our leader. He didn't come here by accident, and you guys have seen the product that he's put out there on the field week after week. So, I don't necessarily think that he played bad in our last game, but, moving away from that, we have full trust in him. He's putting together a great practice week, and we're excited to see what he puts out there on Saturday and lead us.
We're going to have just with a couple more. Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Try to ask this one. It's going to sound weird. In your football life, when is the last time do you think you have ever been just frustrated with how a game was flowing and the game plan of something, if that makes sense?
I would say, there's there's rarely a Saturday that I'm not frustrated. You know what I mean? We can beat a team by 70 like I'm saying, but there's always a standard that I hold myself to, I hold my teammates to, and I hold my coaches to. So that's kind of the standard around the building. So we've all cultivated a really good culture here to where we're able to have tough conversations, hold each other accountable, not only coaches to players, but players to coaches. So there's always ways to improve. Any given Saturday, no matter if we win by 70 points or, we lose by 70, we're always looking for ways to improve. So, yeah.
You, Carnell, and Jeremiah, very good receivers, obviously. But you guys don't tend to have the personalities that can sometimes be the prototypical very good receiver. Why?
I can't speak for those two, but I know for myself, I just look at my life and I look at the ways God has blessed me. And it's hard for me, not to bow before him and be humble in those moments. So I'm not really one to talk too much smack. I'm one to go out there and do my job, and I'm going to do it at a very high level. All the things that go in my head, I never really share all the time. But at my core, deep down, I'm a very real and deep competitor. So I think that I know what I'm capable of. I know the type of caliber player I am. But there's no need to really boast that or anything like that. Just put it on the field and do what you're capable of.
And final question, Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Emeka, one of your former classmates here plays at Tennessee now, Andre Turnstein. Had some comments about Ohio Stadium and about the crowd in Columbus. Do you guys have like a message for Ohio Stadium or for fans who are hearing that and being told that the stadium doesn't get loud, or that Arkansas is a tougher place to play?
Yeah, knowing Buckeye Nation, I don't think I have to do too much motivation. We're going to come out there Saturday, and it's going to be an amazing environment. So that's just the type of fans we have. I'm not going to feed too much into the stuff that Tennessee is saying, but we're really looking forward to this opportunity. We're glad that we're playing at home, just to be in front of our home crowd, in front of our families. So it's going to be an amazing environment, and I'm excited.
I do have one more. Stephanie Odie, 97.1.
Yeah, you talked about the accountability on players to players, coaches to players, but could you elaborate a little bit more on how the players kept the coaches accountable?
Yeah, we've had tough conversations throughout the year, and coaches challenge us in ways. How can I get better? And we give them feedback. So it's not really any different than the way they criticize us. So I think it's important to be able for coaches to be able to handle what players have to say, because in turn it makes them better coaches, just like they're able to coach us. So that's really just that relationship that we have is very special, and I think it's unique to our program.
Emeka, thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys. God bless.
And folks, we'll wrap up today's press conference with Lathan Ransom. Thank you, Lathan.
Appreciate it.
We will open up the floor for questions. Third row left, Dan Holt, 11 Warriors.
Lathan, obviously, you guys came back wanting to, have a special season. You guys weren't able to accomplish those first two goals. What kind of sense of urgency does that give you guys just going into this college ball playoff?
Yeah, I don't really think it gives a sense of urgency. Every game we come here has a lot of pressure. We're expected to win every game. Obviously, the biggest game, most important game to us was that last game, and we didn't accomplish that, but we're going to learn from that and learn from the mistakes and prepare for this upcoming game against Tennessee.
Fourth row right, Stefan Kreisnik.
Cleveland.com. For you guys, the path that you kind of have in the playoff, if you win this game, you get a chance to go to the Rose Bowl. Has that been a motivating factor for you in your career? Obviously, you guys wanted to win the Big Ten this year and get there, but you have a chance again with win here to get there. Has that been something you've thought about, the chance to go back and play there?
Yeah, it's going to mean a lot to me. That's why I broke my leg at, so that's going to be an emotional game, obviously, when I go back there. But, right now, all eyes are on Tennessee, and we got to handle them first before we can do anything. And they're a great team that, oppose a lot of things that, we got to scout for and be ready for. So we're excited to play them.
You're a finalist for Comeback Player of the Year award. Just, Coach Knowles was talking about your journey and the adversity you overcome. I guess, what does it mean to you to get recognized in that way, not just for the play on the field, but for the stuff you've had to overcome as well?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Obviously, I thank God. I thank the people that helped me, get back to this point, because I have faced a lot of adversity. This journey throughout my career obviously didn't go as I had planned it going in, but I wouldn't change a thing for it. I appreciate it. I've learned so much from it. I've grown up as a man. I've grown in my faith, and I've made relationships at Ohio State that I wouldn't change for the world.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Lathan, what's it been like in practice and just the preparation for playing offense like Tennessee that can push the tempo as much as it does and play at a faster pace maybe than anybody you've seen this year?
Yeah, I think our coach has done a great job, trying to replicate that tempo at practice, doing as much as we can, running from drill to drill. When we are doing 11 on 11, showing that tempo, always being ready, communicating at a high level. So I think our coaches always prepare us, for obstacles like that.
Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, follow up on that. I know every game's critical for safeties, but in a game like this where they are lining up quickly and stuff, is your job enhanced? I mean, or made even more, complicated? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I feel like one of the keys to victory is always, communicating. You can't run the defense you want to run without all being on the same page. So, yeah, I think that, as safeties, DBs, linebackers, we always do a great job communicating anyway. But, in any game, you got to be at the highest level of communication. I think that's what we're going to do.
And their running back, what just jumps out at you about him? A couple of guys have talked about his patience. He runs intelligently, for want of another term and stuff. What just jumps out to you?
Yeah, he's a great running back, extremely patient, a great contact balance. You really got to run your feet when you're tackling him. And, he's explosive and has that home run speed. So, we're really excited for the challenge and excited to play another great back.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch, far right.
Yeah, Mecca was just up there, and he said it was kind of unique that players can hold coaches accountable in this program. What's that look like? How does that work? Is it done quietly? Is it done loudly?
Yeah, I think that's what's so special about our team is, obviously when you say, holding a coach accountable, there is no disrespect in that matter. As far as that we're looking for ways that they can make us better, and they're looking for ways that we can make them better. So, having that relationship, just benefits the team.
I'm sorry, who do we have? Tony, I got you already. Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
As a fellow safety, how much do you appreciate playing next to Caleb, and what has he maybe taught you? Even though he's 2 years younger, just from being around him and watching him play. Yeah, I appreciate Caleb. He came in here and, like I said before, handled himself like a pro. Came in asking a bunch of questions. Was a sponge, learned as much as he could at such a fast rate, and continues to learn. And I think he just being with someone like Caleb, just someone I can constantly compete with. And he makes me better by doing that. So I think we're always just in competition with each other. Obviously, we support each other more than I think anyone else in this building. So I think just having a brother like that I can compete against at such a high level, with also having the support from him, is extremely special. For almost the entire season, you guys have played lights out on defense. That is, if it takes that to win the national championship, questions about the offensive line, who knows how the games are going to go. But if it comes down to you guys having to win, how much confidence is there on this defensive unit that you're up to it? At the end of the day, we have complete confidence in our offense, first of all. But, as a defense, when you go out there, every time we step on the field, in the back, we're expected to, get the stop, expected to win the game. Coach Knowles does a great job, of making sure that we feel that every day at practice, that if it comes down to the defense, we need to be ready for that moment. So I think we'll be ready.
We've got time for just one more. We've got special teams getting ready to come in here. Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Lathan, with the splits of Tennessee's receivers, how does that impact your job?
Yeah, I think just obviously those unique splits and, widens out a little more, there's more space. But it just preparing for that game, I want to say really affects our job, but we just have to be ready for that. It's something that we haven't seen before. And I think our coaches and, team has done a great job of showing us those looks to prepare us for the game.
Lathan, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.